What's going on, you guys? Our Chaos here, and to my new viewers, this is probably reaching since this is the 2K community. Welcome. This video is going to be teaching you, if you're new or if you play the game, the sniping filters that are currently hot and how to make MT again if you're new, or you need better filters to get you over that hump. So let's get into it. First filter we're going to be looking at today is the 500 filter. If you're new to sniping, or if you aren't new to sniping, I'm sure you've heard of this filter because it's pretty much everywhere. But recently the 550 filter has been pretty good. Even the 600 filter, I've seen some pink diamonds. I think I've seen one Galaxy Opal on here. It's kind of rare though, so I would maybe stay clear of it, but 550 is good, and 500 obviously is good. Set your minimum buyout at 500 and your max buyout at 500. You can see dark matters, Galaxy Opals, not really dark matters. It can happen, but all you're really going to see is either Galaxy Opals, pink diamonds, or most likely sapphires and golds. But once you do snipe a card, you can sell them for around 700 MT and make a couple hundred profit. But if you're low on MT, this is the filter to go, because once you get a lot of cards, you can stack them and stack your profit. The next filter we're going to be looking at, arguably the best filter in the game due to how frequent snipes show up, is Galaxy Opal cheapest. Currently the cheapest Galaxy Opal is going for about, oh wow, it's pretty cheap, 7,000. Wow. Yeah, the cheapest card is going for 7,000, but for some reason there are bots in the game. So if you set, when you buy one, when you snipe one I should say, when you sell it for 7,600, because it will always get bought out. Again, I don't know why, but yeah, I mean, yeah, you're making about, if you buy a card for 6,300, about 800 to 1,000 MT at the bare minimum per card. But there are Galaxy Opal cards that go for north of 10k, 15k. I've seen some that go for 20k. So it really depends. But what you want to set your filter to is 6,300 and just snipe away. Anything you see is a snipe. Like I said, set it for 7,600. It may take a little for you to see one, but when you do see one, it's usually in batches. Now more than before, you used to see just one at a time, but now you see like at least 3 at a time. So just be prepared to try to get multiple. Sometimes you get really unlucky and see them really late, or just get, beat to the punch. But other than that, you might, on a 5-card refresh, you might get 2 to 3, maybe only 1. But yeah, that's the Galaxy Opal cheapest filter. Now the next filter is dark matter cheapest. This filter has definitely taken a drastic change from a month to 2 months ago. The cheapest one used to be about 50k, and you would set your filter at 40k and you'd be making about 10k. Now the cheapest card is like 10,250, which is these next cards from the NBA draft, which have drastically tanked it. But what you want to do is set your buyout to about 8k, and anything under 8k as a snipe. I've heard to sell them for 10,500 because of the same reason for Galaxy Opal. There's bots that'll buy them for 10,500. I don't know why, but yeah, you can see Invincibles very, very rarely. You can see other dark matter cards that aren't next cards, but 90% of the time you're going to see next cards. But if you do see that rare dark matter card that isn't a draft card, yeah, you're going to be making a decent amount of MT. Now the next filter is Galaxy Opal cheapest, but instead of buying them, you're going to be bid sniping. Bid sniping is definitely very, very inconsistent, but basically what you want to do is set your max bid to 6,600, and as you'll see a lot of cards for bids about 3,000, 2,000, and what you want to do is bid each one for 6,500. Some you're not going to get, some you will. What I've noticed is the cards you mostly get are origin cards or swish cards because they're just not that rare. But like cards like this Lamar Odom, I'm not going to get. This Jamal Crawford, let's see if I can get it in time. 6,600. Oh, we did get it, okay. So that was a dub. This one's for 500. Let's see if we can get it for 6,500. We do not see. There's bots on these ones. You set your thing to 6,500, but some just say 7,200. They're just. It's weird, man. Some of these cards are just very inconsistent. Let's see if we get Reggie. No, we did not. We'll try one more. We'll try a Bogdan. There is still 25 seconds, so we'll see if we can even bid on him. Yes, we bid on him. So anyway, premise of this, you basically want to bid 6,600, 6,500 on all of these cards, and since you're selling them for 7,600, unless they're like this, I think Jaden McDaniels is above 10k, I don't know, we'll put a bid on him, we won't get it, but unless they're cards like this that are going more than 7,000, then, you know, obviously check their price. But if they're just a swish card, or, okay, maybe I shouldn't say that, a normal swish card, or an origin card, like this Mike Miller, JJ Redick, Danny Ferry, 7,600, Larry Kennan, 7,600, Derek Fisher, 7,600, Serge Ibaka is 7,600 because it's an origin. But basically, you know, the more you bid, you can bid like 100 cards and you'll probably get 20, and 20 times 1,000 is 20,000. But if it takes you, say, 20 minutes to get 100 cards, you just made 20,000 in 20 minutes times 3, which is an hour. You'll be making 60k in an hour, give or take. You know, you might make 15k this 20 minutes, 10k the next. So it's a little fluctuating, but you're gonna be making about 40 to 80k an hour. It's pretty good. I wouldn't say 40k, I'd say like 20k to 60k, but it's basically a pretty good, you know, way to get that fast MT. Definitely, I would recommend doing this at night when bidding is not too competitive and cards are, it's kind of inconsistent. They're either expensive or not expensive, but I recommend doing this filter at night because there's less people doing the bid sniping. And yeah, if we go to our auction outcomes, we'll redeem the ones we got outbid on, obviously. As you could see, we won 3 cards. One of Jamal Crawford, Bojan Bogdanovic, and Jaden McDaniels. We can go to our auction house and see how much Jaden McDaniels is going for. Okay, 8,600. Not bad, not bad. So 8,600 minus 800 is about 7,800. So I made about 1,500 on that. And on this Jamal Crawford, that goes for about 8k. Bogdanovic, I have no clue whatsoever. Probably 8k. So I made about, I want to say, 4,000, 5,000 on just 3 cards. So this filter is very underrated. I don't think much people know about it, but I'm sure more people are starting to learn about it. But But yeah, I would recommend doing this filter if you have the same amount of MT as I do. But other than that, yeah. The next filter, probably the lowest risk, not lowest risk, but highest reward, lowest consistency, you could say. Let's go to Invincible. Now the Invincible cards, as you know, are the very good cards. Obviously not the best since Endgame came out, but they're very expensive. None of these cards are buy nows, as you can tell. You go to minimum buyout, none pop up. Now if you see where I'm going with this, you set your minimum buyout to 500 and you sit on this filter as long as you have, you know, after you've spent God knows how long in the Galaxy Opal or Dark Matter cheapest filter to work your way up to 100. Once you have over 100, you can go on this filter anytime you want. Just put minimum buyout to 500. If you see a card for 100k, or sometimes they might be cheaper, well, I don't know why, but they are. You buy them, you're making, the cheapest one I've seen is like 200k, so you're making at least 80k depending on how many badges it has or the contract. But any card on this is a very good snipe. But like I said, it's very inconsistent. I don't recommend spending more than an hour at a time on this filter. Maybe, you know, before you go to sleep, when you wake up, just spend like an hour on it. And if you get a card, you get a card. It might take you a week. I've never gotten a card on this filter, unfortunately, but I know a lot of people have. Now the last filter that is, you know, the best in my opinion, that I currently have, is Dark Matter Western enabled. Now as you can see, all of these cards that are buy nows, that Shaquille is a buy now, don't worry. Oh, I was gonna get that Bol buddies. He's a bid. All of these cards are Western cards. They are buy nows are the ones that have the yellow thing, which means I currently own them. Now, if you go to enabled, sorry, you gotta put thing right here. If you go to minimum buyout 500, you'll see all these cards that pop up. These are the cards that I own, but as you can see, if I go to my auctions, they're in my auctions. So when I click enabled, because they're not in my collection, they won't show up. Now if we go back to Dark Matter and Western enabled, what I usually like to do, I've experimented with this filter. Not really any other people tell me how else to do it, but this is what I figured out that works. 100k minimum buyout, 500 minimum bid. I don't know why this filter is not working. Yeah, this filter is definitely very annoying sometimes because it breaks and you need a certain amount of cards in a certain time. So as you can see, there's card 1 hour, 3 hours, 8 hours, 9 hours, and 12 hours. You need a card under 4 hours and above 4 hours to make the filter. I don't know how that works, but it's what I've heard how it works. But as you can see, this one should be working, but what I usually have to do is take my thing down about 96k or just lower it, and for some reason it works. And as you can see, when I do that, the 4 cards pop up and then the other 2 pop up. That usually signifies that the filter is working. The first time it was probably working, but I'm very superstitious, so I like to do it this way so I know the filter is working. Unfortunately, as I'm recording this, I just started the filter yesterday, but I only saw one Lucas snipe last night, and I haven't seen another one, mainly because, you know, hero cards are popping off, next cards are popping off, and because this is Western, you can't see next or hero, because hero is not on a team, and next obviously aren't on teams because they were in college. so they don't pop up on Western. So you know, like the Invincible LeBrons, Invincible Lucas, normal Lucas, Bulls are pretty dry. But I would say, I don't know how this filter is going to do after super packs come out on, I don't know if they're coming out on Monday or Tuesday, but if they do, I don't know how it'll affect this. I'm sure you'll just have to, because there's not going to be any new cards that I know of in the super packs, but the snipes like the Luca and the Invincible snipes may be tanked to a buy now. I don't know though, this is my first year playing 2K, but yeah. Let me show you how to work this Dark Matter Western Enable. Now, because I already showed you my auctions, you see the cards in there, so I'll go ahead and send these back to my collection. So basically what you want to do is go to your team, go to players. Now, the cards that I find work most of the time is Bracket Busters Stephen Curry. Damian Lillard is kind of like an extra card to use to like balance out the filter. Magic sometimes works on his own. Jokic sometimes when he doesn't have a lot of cards. Kobe, has a lot of cards on it sometimes. I like to use Mark for like, you know, filling out the filter, making it like good. And then Blake Griffin works sometimes. So what I usually do, oops, I didn't mean to back out, is I usually, because you can, oh, that was a voice crack. You usually can just go to your auction house and see which ones are going for 100k, but what I usually like to do is just send them to my auction and figure out that way. It's just faster for me. Go to Western, enabled, minimum buyout, about, we'll go 95k to start. Now as you can see, there's only 2 cards which are out for 100, so what you want to do is lower the filter to about 90k. Oh wow, these cards are, alright, probably have to lower it to about below 88. Alright, now if you lower it to about 88, this 88 card on the left will show up. Now there is 2 cards under 4 hours, and there is a card above 4 hours, signifying that this filter does work. You only have a 2 card scroll, so that's very good. If you're feeling superstitious and you want more cards on it, just lower your filter even more. Even more cards will pop up, so now you'll have a 3 card snipe. I know sometimes I like to do this just because I feel superstitious that the filter isn't working, even though the filter is just dead. I haven't seen anything on it yet. But yeah, this, as you can tell, is working. And yeah. Now I just bought Dark Matter and Western last night, so I only have 400k. I had about 1.25 mil, and I ended up having, I want to say 450 left until I bought the last Wilt card that I didn't buy, which dropped me down to about 400k. So I spent about 800k on the filter. I would say not to buy Western, because if you're thinking about buying an enabled, I would recommend Western just because it's a little bit better than Eastern, and there's not much cards to buy now or buy out. I'd recommend having at least 200, 300k extra after buying the filter, so you have enough to snipe, because most of these snipes are going to go for 100k. But the perk of what I did is setting your filter to about, you know, if you have Bracket Busters Curry. By the way, I am on PlayStation, so anything that I'm doing does work on PlayStation. Obviously it does work on Xbox, but you might have to find different cards to put on the thing. But you know how to, since I said, just go to your auctions, send one of the ones that I said, send it to your auction, do what I'm doing, and just see the scroll. And as you can see, it is working. Yeah, I have 385 because I spent about 18 on those Galaxy Opals. So I would have 400k, enough for 4 snipes. But like I said, the perk of this, since I put my minimum buyout to 86k, I can see any card that pops up that may go for 95. I seen one guy get an Invincible Robert Horry for 94k instead of 100k like usual. So that's the perks of doing this. I obviously don't have enough for full dark matter enabled, because if I did, I would be more than happy to do that. But since I started late, you know, I unfortunately don't have that much MT. What I did is just grinded Galaxy Opal, grinded dark matter. You know, I got those rare 500 MT dark matter snipes, and just, you know, worked my MT. It took me about a month to get to 1.3. I would have had upwards of 2 mil, but I made some very stupid mistakes. I bought a Dwayne Wade when it came out, Dwayne Hero, for 100k when it was only like 80k. Lost about 40k in profit. It was terrible, but as long as you don't make stupid mistakes like that, you'll be set. I'd say once you get, you know, enough to get dark matter enabled, maybe even western or eastern, whatever you want to pick, you should be good. It has been Saturday night, which should have been more active, but Sunday, Monday, they're pretty dead days, I guess, but Tuesday, Wednesday are somewhat more active days. Friday is a lot more active. But yeah, but anyway, that's gonna wrap up this video. I hope you enjoyed those filters. I'm sorry for talking a lot, but I know a lot of people starting out on this game, you know, is maybe confused or don't know how to do these filters, that maybe some people don't, you know, get into the very in detail specifics. So I hope this video helped, and I hope this video reaches a decent audience, since it is 2K and this is a pretty popular, you know, thing. But yeah, hope you enjoyed. This is RKS out of the house.